I'm useless without this coffee right now. I'm driving with my wife the other day. She says to me, she goes, pull over to the gas station. I want to play the Powerball. I want to play the Powerball. Meanwhile, we know who's going into the gas station to get the fucking ticket. So it looks like I'll be playing the Powerball. Yeah. I got news to you. Everybody talks about winning the lottery, right? Isn't that the favorite conversation? What would you do with the money? Blah, 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 blah. I used to work with this guy, Silvio. Okay? In the bakery. And we were all sitting around talking about what we would do with our lottery money, right? It's like the fun conversation at work. We're all miserable. Hungover. What would you do if you won the lottery? You know, I get a Lamborghini. This, that. I'd have a yacht. You know, people are so fucking boring. They really are. And I remember Silvio said, if I won the lottery, I would be the manager of this bakery. And we all looked at him like, are you fucking serious? No wonder why his son put an axe in his head. Oh, come on. Come on. Are you with me on that one at least? I love people that say, well, I tell you right now, I'm just going to carry around a hammer. And if somebody says something stupid, I'm going to blast them over the head with it. I'm done. I love when you talk to people about if they won the lottery, they go, if I won a lottery, I'd probably open up my own business. I'm like, hey dummy, you have the end product of owning the business. I want to get out. I want to get out of this country. I want to fly away. I swear to Christ Almighty. Mentally, I've been there. I've been a rich man. I've meditated. I've been a rich man. I don't want the lottery ticket. And I have nothing against the gambling aspect of it. Oh, you're throwing away $1. Big deal. Throw away $1. Throw away $10. Throw away $20. I don't care if it makes you happy chasing down the lottery. That's not the part that bothers me. I told my wife right now, I said, if we win this lottery, it would just completely destroy our family. That's all. So go ahead. That's what you want? I've been there. I've gone to these places. Deep in my head. I have a very visceral understanding of what it's like to be a multi-millionaire. And I got news for you. You don't want it. You don't want it. Because what's going to keep me from sitting on the couch and just shoving jelly donuts into my stomach at an alarming rate? I'd be eating jelly donuts with 3 hands. And who the fuck is going to tell me otherwise? Sometimes sometimes when I get up to go to work, I think that I'm blessed. And I really do. Because I think that I need that discipline in my life. Who else is going to tell me to get up? It's like the show. Who's going to tell me to get up at 3:15 in the fucking morning? If I don't have to. I gotta make the greatest video game program in the history of human civilization. Do you understand that? And there's no turning back. Plus, I don't even want to hear it. $200 million, it's not enough for me. I need it in the billions, baby. I'm telling you right now. To live the lifestyle that I want to live, I would have a fucking Panzer King Tiger tank for a golf cart. And I'm not even kidding. And then I'd have a whole crew of lawn guys following behind me, straight from Scott, laying down turf to fix the golf course as I drive over with my Panzer tank. What do you? I'd have the golf clubs hanging right out of the barrel. Come on, you kidding me? I'd rebuild that fucking tank, that super tank that Hitler wanted to build. I listen. I know. Anytime you mention Adolf Hitler, everybody's gonna go, oh. You can't talk about him. Well, you know what is this like knee-jerk reaction? Every time somebody mentions Adolf Hitler, you just gotta like totally denounce the guy. All right? We get it. He did some bad things. But can we stop for a second and admire this guy's fucking ambition? I mean, honestly. I know he was a bad guy. I get it. But he wanted to build a fucking 1,000-ton tank. Alright? And I got news for you. If I was the Russians and Americans, I would have been like, listen, we can go into Berlin and take this guy out. Can we just back off for a year and see what else this fucking motherfucker can crank out? I want to see the 1,000-ton tank! Where else are you going to see that? Imagine being in your B-29, right? And you're on your 50 caliber machine gun mount, and all of a sudden the rocket-powered plane goes flying by in 1944. What? You're sitting there like, da-da-da-do, da-da-da-do. It's like, okay, the war is over. Da-da-da-da-da-do. I mean, come on! Listen, do you understand? Listen to the audacity of this tank, by the way. This was going to be the biggest tank built so far was the Mouse, right? The Mouse was 111 tons. This was going to be 1,000 tons, 128 feet long, 46 feet wide. It was going to have, I think, 8 20-cylinder Mercedes-Benz Daimler engines in it. 8 at 2,000 horsepower apiece. So what is that? 16,000 horsepower? God knows what the torque rating would be. They were going to take... They were going to take the main guns from a battleship and mount it on top of this tank. Come on. But they were going to eliminate the middle gun, so it would just be the 2 outside guns, so they could keep more ammunition in between. It was going to have a compartment on the side, like a door that would open. Remember in Star Wars? When they landed on, oh, Jesus Christ. What was that? Jar Jar Binks' planet? Remember when all those spacecraft opened and all the drone, the clones? No, the drone. I don't know Star Wars that great, guys. The fucking robots. They had the racks of robots that came out. Yeah, there was a compartment on the side of the tank that would flip open and two fucking BMW motorcycles could drive out and do reconnaissance. I'm sorry. They made the thing. It had, it could. What was the ground clearance on it? Was 12 meters. You could put a whole battalion of troops underneath this thing and march. This thing they designed the ground clearance to be so it could just go across any river in Germany, in Europe. Can you imagine seeing a 128-foot tank coming at you? It's got to be like War of the Worlds. Remember at the end of War of the Worlds? What was it? The Steven Spielberg version of War of the Worlds, where at the end you see the big craft, you know, the big standing craft in the distance, and it's like out of focus. It's so far away, but it's so huge. Remember when they fire the rocket at it? Holy smokes. What are you going to do? You see this tank come around the corner, it's just like right into your pants. There was a hospital on board. Oh! You ready for this? Eight 20mm flat guns on top, just in case any airplanes try to whiz by and drop bombs on you. This thing was a rolling castle. That's basically what it was. A rolling castle. My Christ. So yeah, I'd have to build that. And I'd have to restore a PT boat. I was watching these guys restoring a PT boat on I don't know. I get into these YouTube channels. People restoring a fucking PT boat. A PT boat could blow your fucking mind. You know, you watch the old war flicks. You know, America goes to war, and then you see like the battleship driving along, and then like right next to it, you see like a little PT boat next to it. Yeah. It looks like, oh, look, that's cute. It's like a Zodiac. It's like a dinghy. A fucking PT boat is 80 feet long, people. 80 feet long. It has 3 Packard V12 engines producing like 600 horsepower apiece. So it's 1,800 horsepower altogether. A fucking 80-foot long boat that can do 46 miles an hour. Oh, by the way, the Land Cruiser tank, that's what it was called, the Land Cruiser. And it's spelt exactly the way Land Cruiser should be spelt. Yeah. So you're thinking to yourself, oh yeah, it probably goes about as fast as like that NASA tank that brings out the space shuttle. No, it does about 26 miles an hour. So there you go, a 128-foot long tank coming at you at 26 miles an hour. Usain Bolt could get away. What does he run? 27 miles an hour? Yeah, he could get away. Yeah. I doubt he could beat the 128mm shell, though, coming out of the fucking main gun. Good luck with that one, buddy. You could probably ride on top of it. It's so huge, it probably comes out so slowly. You could probably just like jump on top of it with a leather saddle. Anyhow, I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Yeah, these PT boats, right? So I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Like, 3 V12 Packard engines, they're fucking huge. I think they're like 40 liters apiece. They showed the fuel line going to the fuel line was like your fucking PVC pipe leaving your toilet bowl. So the guy's like, yeah, he's like at top speed, it'll consume about 500 gallons per hour of aviation fuel. It's like, who fucking has the money to restore this thing? You can't even start it without bankrupting the whole project. 500 gallons of fuel per hour. It has 4 fuel tanks. Each fuel tank carries 800 gallons of fuel. Huh? and it can do 1,000 nautical miles. By the way, what's a nautical mile? A mile's a mile. 1,000 nautical miles on one engine at like 15 knots. That's pretty fucking far. Can you imagine how much fuel was used in World War II? Can you fucking... I don't know. What are we talking about here? All right. Oh, yeah, and the crew on a PT boat, I was thinking it's like 2 guys, right? I keep thinking of the gunship from, like, Apocalypse Now. For some reason, that's what I'm thinking. But a PT boat could have a crew of 3 officers and 14 men. This is what it's talking about. 17 people? And they said the living quarters were spacious. They had plenty of room down there. Bunks, everything. Sit there, play cards. Hang up your pictures of Betty Sue up on the fucking wall, right? Smoke cigarettes. Could you imagine the fucking cigarette smoking going on into that fucking PT boat? Oh my God. The cigarette smoke. I want to know. You want to give me the real stats? I want to know how many gallons of gasoline were burned and how many gallons of diesel during World War II and how many cigarettes were smoked. Everything else, who cares? All right, here we go. We went to a garage sale, and the garage sale is slow around here, guys. I don't know whether it's what I'm getting up too late. I don't know. I got to go earlier. Every sale I go to, somebody beats me to it. Anyhow, I walk up the driveway, and my fucking heart almost stops. I see the two Sega Genesis games that you never see. 2 EA games. One you really never see, and the other one I wasn't really too familiar with. All right. Anyway, one was Galahad, and the other one was my heart started. I thought I was gonna have a fucking heart attack. My heart started beating so fast in my chest. It's amazing how these things can happen. The other one was an EA role-playing game that I can't find anywhere. I can't find it anywhere. Sure, I can go and buy it, right, off of eBay, but I ain't doing it, baby. And it broke my heart as I'm walking up the driveway. I see the price tag on it. The price tag is $55. And I broke out into a cold sweat because I was like, number one, there's no way I'm leaving this garage sale without this game. And number two, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do because I would pay the $55 for this game. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Listen, all bartering goes out the window when it comes to this game right here. So the kid comes out. He's got Galahad out there, which, by the way, looks great. The graphics look amazing on Galahad. I've never played the game, but man, did it look so good. I wanted it really bad. But it had a $55 price tag on it too. So I'm like, obviously this guy did his eBay work, right? So I look at it and I say, oh my God. I said, any other video games? So this girl calls her brother out. This fucking guy comes out. I say, hey, you got any other video games? He's like, no, I don't have anything else. I said, well, what can you do? What can you do on these 2 games right here? And he's looking at me like, oh, I don't know. So I offer him, I don't know why I did this. I offered him $60 for the 2.
Would you do any better on the Genesis games if I took both of them?
For both of them?
Yeah. How much do you want for both of them?
If I was a kid, that would scare me.
Would you do 60 for both of them?
I can do 80 for both of them.
And my bartering abilities have fucking gone out the window. Like, I watch CJR, he's like cleaning up in Canada. I don't know what the fuck is going on up there. And this guy is like bartering people down, and I'm like, I feel terrible about myself when I watch it, because I lose all my cool when I see this game. So I was like, I'll give you $60 for the two. I'm thinking in my head, I'm going to give this guy $60 for 2 Sega Genesis games right now? At a garage sale? What am I, fucking nuts? So he's like, no, can't do that. And he tells me, he tells me he's got Sonic the Hedgehog in the house. He could give me all 3 for $100.
I mean, I have a Sonic. You want a Sonic too? I can do 100 if you want all 3.
I'm like, $100? What? I'm like, what am I even thinking? So then I was like, oh, would you do, and then I just said, would you do 40 for Buck Rogers?
How about 40 for Buck Rogers?
Sure.
And he was like, okay. So I was like, oh. And I grabbed it, and I tell you why I paid $40 for it. I don't know why I paid $40 for it. Quite honestly, feel good price for me to walk away with this game would have been like $10, $20. But that simply wasn't going to happen with this dude. All right, so I paid $40 for it. What the fuck? Anyhow, the important part to see here is just the condition of this game is absolutely ridiculous. Look at that, buddies. Look at that. Buck Rogers is such a special game for me. It's the Sega Genesis game. It's right up there with Starflight. It's right up there with Might and Magic. It's right up there. Look at the instruction manual, guys. Look at that instruction manual. Beautiful, beautiful instruction. Oh, look at this. All secrets in the back. Why did you look at that? Somebody said to me the other day, you didn't beat Phantasy Star 2. You must have used a hint book. And nobody. I don't care how stuck, and I was stuck for months on Phantasy Star 2. Okay? I didn't look at no hint book. That, in my head, was against the law. And I stuck with it. Oh, yeah. There were times I felt pressured to look in the hint book. I wouldn't allow myself to do it. For me, it was cheating. That's not the reason why I have a game that I'm trying to challenge myself. Why? Let me just look at the hint book. Whoa. Let me just follow along and beat the game. And wow, what did I really do? It never made sense to me. Hint books never made sense to me. Strategy guides will never make sense to me. No fair, Jack. No fair. No. Look at this. What is this in here? Oh my God. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Hey, look, it's got all the swag. All right? There goes another word I'm never going to say in my life. Look at that. I can't believe all the swag in here. It's full of swag. Got these things in here. Look at this poster. Call the hint line. Oh, yeah. You know what? Sometimes I think, somebody told me, sometimes I think these games were designed with the idea of propping up a hint line. Like, all right, guys, listen. We need you to design a game that's going to run some traffic into the hint line. And it's like, oh, yeah. Okay, motherfucker. We'll make Buck Rogers. That's one that'll do it. Call anytime. Oh, yeah, 24 hours a day. Yeah, sure. Look at this. Oh, my God. All the EA classics. Shadow of the Beast. Might and Magic. The Immortal. Rings of Power. And Budokan. Yeah, okay. Can I call the hint line and get my fucking money back for that wreck of a game? Here we go. Battle Squadron. I never played Battle Squadron. Look at that. What is that? Shooter. Vertically scrolling shooter. Interesting. Marble Madness. I mean, what are you going to do? Oh, yeah. Populous. Centurion. I remember all these down at the rental store. But the one that I remember most, as I used Phil's rental code 621, was Buck Rogers. Oh, yeah, baby. I can't tell you how many times I rented Buck Rogers. Hold on, let me put the swag back. Oh, my God. Come on, you son of a... Okay. I don't think the game's ever been played before. Anyhow. Here's the deal with Buck Rogers. You turn it on, you hear that great music, you know. Ding, ding, ding. Your ears could start bleeding. Anyhow. Anyhow. You turn on Buck Rogers, and the first thing you have to do is you have to build your crew. Oh, yeah. All different races. Were there different races? Human, this, that, the other thing. And then they had different attributes. They were either engineers or fighters or navigators or this type of thing. Because remember, you're going to pilot a spaceship in this game. Oh, my God. Sip of coffee. And then you do the world-famous dice roll. I swear to you, I would sit there for 2 hours just dice rolling my characters. I think you could pick 5 characters in this game. I'm not sure. Man, it's been a long time. I think it's 5 characters. And then I would sit there and dice roll, dice roll, dice roll, dice roll. Maybe you press the button and it would do a dice roll on your attributes, on your strength, on your intelligence, on your blah, 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 your dexterity, your charisma, this, that, the other thing. And you'd sit there and dice roll, dice roll, dice roll. And remember, you would get so hypnotized dice rolling, because you'd get a guy and you'd want him to be, if he was the engineer, I guess you want him to have a little intelligence or whatnot. And you'd dice roll, and you'd focus on that one attribute. And then if it came up really high, then you'd examine the other attributes. And if they were high too, then yeah. But sometimes you would dice roll, dice roll, dice roll, dice roll, and you'd be so hypnotized that the number would come. You're like, oh my God, a 27. And then you, by accident, you'd hit dice roll again and completely blow all your attributes. That was a common thing in Buck Rogers. So you'd sit there and roll and roll and roll and roll. And what would happen was you'd build this amazing crew. Then I remember getting into my first battle and just getting wiped out, dead, and not saving. And then having to do the whole fucking thing over again. And that happened like 3 times. 3 times. I got out of the main base. I got onto the ship, because that was the other thing you do. You get through the base there, the first base, right? You get through the enemies. And the fighting in this game is awesome. You fight like your squad of guys. You see your whole squad of guys, and it's like you almost move around in like Jesus Christ, no memory. In a Shining Force type of way, right? But you don't see the tiles on the floor. But you guys can move around this space station and fight each other. But they're fighting with lasers. And it would make that sound like when you hit somebody, like you'd be like, doo doo doo. what it would sound like when you hit somebody. It really would. And you'd throw grenades, and you'd throw grenades, and be a big explosion, and the guys would get wiped. Oh man, the fighting in Buck Rogers is so killer. It's great. And then I remember you'd fly your ship to a different planet, and then you'd be outside, and you'd have these battles outside. Oh my God! You wanted to see all the weapons. This was futuristic role playing. All right, this was different. It was along the lines of Phantasy Star where you'd see lasers and stuff like that. It wasn't like you were shooting like fire spell, ice spell, lightning spell, right? It was always elemental spells. But here in Buck Rogers, you were throwing grenades. It was that role-playing setup. But it was very technological. Yeah. That's right. And I think what was so exciting about that, because at the time, Middle-earth was a real popular like Dungeons and Dragons game. Do you remember Middle-earth? A lot of people were playing Middle-earth. And I remember, I was playing the one with vampires. The fuck, I can't remember anything. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Keep. Dark Keep? No. I was playing a vampire one. And I was playing with like two knucklehead friends that didn't know how to play. I was improvising. We really didn't know what was going on. I read the Dungeon Master's Guide. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons was too much for me. I could never figure out what I was doing. Ravenloft. Woo! I could see. I could see all the fucking. I had all the continuum. What was it? I see all the books like just revolving in front of behind my eyes. I was playing Ravenloft, but then Advanced Dungeons and Dragons also had. Maybe it wasn't Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, but they also had futuristic games, and I wanted to play those. What were the names of those games? It was like, real futuristic. It's like, oh, these different odd weapons and stuff like this. Oh yeah. Listen, I used to go to high school. I had my plastic cylinder full of dice in my back pocket. Who wants to go? You didn't fuck with me. I pull out my 20-sided die on you. Boy. Anyhow, Buck Rogers was a futuristic type of role-playing game. Very exciting. And it was in that vein of EA role-playing games ported over from computers. It was so exciting, and it was so vast. You knew... I didn't get very far in Buck Rogers, admittedly, because I was renting it. And I just never had the nuts to get the fucking $60 together, because it was always a $59.99 game. Yeah. I never had the nuts to buy it. So, I was looking at some of the long play. I just checked the long play footage of Buck Rogers real quick, and it was like 7 hours! And this is somebody, if they're doing a long play, they know what they're doing. So just like double that. Triple that. Because you don't know where you're going. And there's this huge space to explore. Oh, yeah. And with the music in this game, think about it. 30 or 40 hours of that music will put you right into a mental home. It'll drive you Looney Tunes. Anyway, guys, that's Buck Rogers. Look at that. That was a super duper exciting find. That was the only thing I found. I found a rocket. like one of those rockets that you launch in the field. I don't know. What am I going to get arrested? Was Homeland Security going to come after me if I go to launch this rocket down at the park? It came with the whole... I wish I had it here. It's one of my harebrained things that I think I'm going to do with my kid. You know, it's a rocket. It comes with the tripod. It comes with the launcher. Everything. $5 in the package, brand new. I bring it home. I show my kid. I'm like, hey, look, we're gonna launch a rocket. He's like, oh, we're gonna launch a rocket. 10 minutes later, I see him slamming the rocket into the floor. I come around the corner of the kitchen, and he takes the rocket, the cone end of the rocket. It's already built, ready to go. He takes the cone end of the rocket, and he's smashing it into the floor like this. I just went like this. I went, what are you thinking? Like, what in your brain makes you think that's an appropriate thing to do? I think that's exactly what I said to him. And my wife's like, honey, I'm like, honey, nothing. Why would you do that? I don't know. Anyway, there it is. There's the huge pickup. All right? So get off my back. Listen, you just tuned into the greatest video game program in the history of human civilization. And you better believe that. With a 4K face! See you next time.